Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss the recently released new scene images from Scream 5, plus a new poster published by Paramount Studios in Brazil. Now, before we dive in, please smash that thumbs up button on this video, as it really does help out the channel. And if you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? This is the time to do it. So, click that subscribe button followed by the bell icon so you'll be notified the moment I post all future Scream and other horror movie content. Okay, let's get started. So, the Paramount Brazil Twitter account tweeted this out. In the hashtag Ghostface game, you have two options. Try to fight him or run for your life. What would your choice be? But the option for January 13th is only one. Watch Scream only in theaters. And the tweet was followed by this poster attached to it. Now it is clearly playing homage to the iconic blue pill or red pill made famous in The Matrix. So in this scenario, you take the blue pill to try and fight Ghostface, or take the red pill to run for your life. So what would your choice be? I would love to know what you would do if that were a real scenario. So put that in the comments below right now. Which pill would you take? And I also want to mention that it looks like Paramount is sticking to their plan of only releasing Scream 5 in theaters. I personally am holding out hope that one day soon they will announce that they are dropping it on Paramount Plus on January the 14th. I remember with that Halloween Kills, for example, they announced they were dropping it on Peacock, but they didn't do that until it was about 2 weeks before it came out. It was at the very, very late, late in the game when they said they were going to do that. And I was so pumped to hear that. And I actually watched it on Peacock. So I'm hoping that now we're coming up on the 2-week mark on Friday that Paramount Plus will go ahead and pull the trigger and change their mind, and we will get an announcement of a dual release. I mean, throw it on there for $19.99 or even $29.99. Just I still think people are going to watch it at home. They'll still pay the money to do it. I know I would. So hopefully that's what's going to happen. But we'll have to wait and see, obviously. And I know it may not, because they seem to be digging into the ground on this whole only in theaters, like pretty much everything they're putting out now. So it may not change, but I'm going to stay hopeful on that front. Okay, next we have several scene images from Scream 5 that were posted on the Two Brash Sarah TikTok account. Now, first up is this image of Tara and Amber. Now, we know that they are in a relationship, or were in a relationship, or on an on and off again, you say it, relationship, in some way. We don't know for sure, but we know from the trailer that they are close and were texting each other, because that's how the first trailer began. Remember, with Tara having that conversation with Amber, and it turns out it's Ghostface. So even if Ghostface, was on Amber's phone somehow texting Tara in that scene, Tara did not know that, so she was obviously texting who she thought was Amber. So they're in a relationship where it's at least good enough to be on speaking terms, whatever the case may be. So I know that a lot more is going to be explained in the movie about this. So we'll find out exactly what that relationship dynamic is at this point once we get into the movie. And we'll see ultimately how that may or may not impact the story of Scream 5. Next, we see this image of Sam and Richie. Now, they both work at the bowling alley, and we know that's the case because here they are in their work shirts, sitting outside on the front steps, having a moment together. And here we see another shot of Sam. Now, in this scene, she is at one of the crime scenes, which we know by the yellow crime tape and the police officers in the background. And she has a very concerned look on her face, and I'm so ready to find out what exactly it is that she's looking at. Now, we have also another image of Richie. Now, the text on top of this picture was put on there by Two Brash Sarah, so I just left it on there. But we don't know 100% where Richie is in this picture because it's really a tight shot. But I really think this is from the scene where they're in the house, all sitting on the couch watching the stab films and talking about the suspects for the current attacks. It just looks like it could be from that shot. Now, next up is this image of Liv and Chad. It looks like they are most likely walking on the school grounds together. And if you don't know already, Chad and Liv are dating each other in Scream 5 after Liv has been seeing Vince at some point in the past. We just don't know all the backstory there, but we do know at least that Liv and Vince were together at some point, but Chad is her current boyfriend. And speaking of Vince, we have this shot of Vince hanging out in his car, and most likely, from the way he looks, watching Liv, as we've heard rumors, that now he's essentially stalking her and probably not accepting the fact that he is the ex-boyfriend. And we even had that recent scene that I showed in a previous video where they're all in the bar there where the pool tables are, and Vince is standing there pointing towards Liv, and Chad is in the middle of them. So it looks very confrontational. So it looks like that's going to be the case, and we'll get the full story, obviously, but that's what we have to go on right now. Now, here we see a scene of Wes hanging out with Amber, which looks to be like a break area outside the school. And since this is a nice wider shot, we can see more background and the other people who are most likely students as well. Now, the question I have is, who is Wes talking to on the phone? Is it Ghostface? And if it is, then we can either rule out Amber or we can suspect that Amber's accomplice, the second Ghostface killer, is calling Wes. This would also take suspicion off of Amber in the movie if he was getting a call from Ghostface. It would definitely be a nice sleight of hand situation if Amber is indeed a Ghostface, and if you believe that's the case. But I'm still hoping she's not a killer in this movie, just because it's been so predicted and so many people feel that she is going to be. So I'm holding on to the position of that. I hope she's not. I want to be somebody else that no one's really talking about. Okay, so here we see Wes once again. Now this time he's hanging out with Mindy. They are both checking out her phone screen and are clearly entertained by what they see. It looks like it's not like a scary moment or a moment where they're getting some kind of a text or a message that could be, dangerous or anything like that. They look like they're pretty chill, just checking out her phone. But that looks like it'll be a fun scene. Now, it is time to get into the OG3 and Legacy cast. And I mentioned Legacy cast after the OG3, not because I misspoke, but because we have this new image of Judy Hicks. Now here we see her leaving her house wearing that familiar outfit from the trailer and the previous scene images that have been released. Now the difference between this shot of Judy and the others is that in this image, she actually looks happy. So this is obviously before the dreaded call from Ghostface that we're all anticipating she gets when she's driving. So this is when things are still going good for her. And this literally could be just minutes before that happens because she's in the same clothes. So we'll see. Although I wonder about one thing. Could there be a Ghostface costume in that bag she's carrying on her left shoulder there? Just something to ponder. Now, on to our OG3. We have this image of Dewey sitting in his pickup truck with a very inquisitive look on his face. He is clearly looking at something or someone that has his attention and possibly suspicion. Next, we have Gail, who is rocking her red power suit along with a pen and notepad. So this really looks like she arrived at one of the murder scenes and she's there to find out what happened and write down the details to probably take back to her morning TV show to discuss and report, or she may just be taking notes to use as a source material for her next book, because this is Gail Weathers, and we know that Gail is always about the next big book, the next big opportunity. So that's a very real possibility. And finally, we have this fantastic image of Sydney, who is, of course, rocking the iconic leather jacket. And I suspect that she's outside of the hospital in this shot because that little logo on the door behind her, you can't see the whole thing, but you can kind of see the squiggly lines. It really reminds me of the doors at the hospital that we saw before in the trailer. And so that, I think, is where she's at. And speaking of the hospital, I have one final bonus image for you. This comes from one of the new TV ads that is in current circulation. And here we see a shot of someone from the coroner's office bringing out a dead body in a body bag to go for autopsy. And you can tell this is a public location and not someone's home because there is that wall hanging lit up, and it looks a lot like an informational poster that you might see at the hospital. So it looks like they are removing a dead body, possibly from the hospital. So the question then becomes, whose body is this? Is this Dewey's body, as I have been speculating will happen, or is it someone else entirely? I mean, it's impossible for us to know right now, but it is a little chilling to see that coroner's jacket and seeing the body bag there. It's just because, obviously there's gonna be a lot of death, but it's just not knowing who it is really gets you. So we don't know for sure, but one thing we can say with certainty is this: we are just 2 weeks away from finding out all of the answers. Now, I want to know what you think about these new scene images along with the Brazilian poster. I want to hear your opinions and thoughts and your ideas and theories. So start leaving your comments below right now so we can discuss it together. Well, that is it for this update, but I'll be back soon with more Scream and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thank you for watching.